East Clare's landscape has long inspired stories of magic, mystery and quiet wonder, and one local author is bringing that spirit to life for a new generation of readers. Eric McNamara is the author of the Erica's Light series, and he's just released his second book, Erica's Light, The Ancient Scroll Awaits, blending adventure with themes of kindness, community and curiosity. The series is deeply rooted in the beauty and heritage of East Clare. Very good morning to you, Eric McNamara. How are you?
I'm great, Alan. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming in. And I have Erica's Light, A Journey of Kindness, and Erica's Light, The Ancient Scroll Awaits in front of me. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your own writing background and coming up with the Erica's Light series.
Well, it's funny, I was just saying to your colleague out there, about 10 years ago I was in here for the Clare Garden Festival. I was building my first show garden. And that business, garden design and landscaping company, went on to be very successful, won national awards. But back in 2019, I burnt myself out. I actually wasn't happy with life, and I said something had to change. So I started a journey maybe 6 or 7 years ago, 2019, and it was mindfulness. I started a mindfulness teaching course, and it changed my life. And that's actually where my writing began.
And your writing began then, and did that lead you straight into the Erica's Light series? Had you written a number of books before this or other writings?
I hadn't. It was actually throughout that course my writing developed, my confidence built. And it was November 2019, a friend of mine, sitting in a van just up the road from here, asked me to write a book with kindness being the main theme. And that's where it started.
Okay, very good. So tell us about the Erica's Light series. As I say, I have 2 books here. Are these the only 2 books in the series so far? If so, will the series extend beyond this? What's the general gist of the series?
So the 2 books you have in front, they're the first 2 of a series of 4. So now the third one I haven't started yet. My wife gives out to me because she said if I hear about a third book anytime soon, she'll go for me. And Angela, in fairness, is great, and I have a very supportive family. She's my main editor at the end. She's the principal in Scariff Community College. And I suppose to go back to the first book, when my friend asked me to write the book, the story of straight away came out of my head. I used to walk in Mountshannon in the woods, and that was my backdrop, the woods, and it was like as if a movie played before my eyes as I'd walk around, and the words just flew onto the page. Because
I mentioned a lot of the beauty and heritage of East Clare is in Erica's Light series, including, you've mentioned Mountshannon, other areas we touched on at the top of the show, Inis Cealtra, and so on. There's a lot of kind of magical, mystical places that feature in the book.
There is, and there's so much beauty around, especially in nature. And often we're so busy that we forget about it, and we're, again, as I say, we're so busy and we're going from A to B, and we forget the beauty before our eyes. And this is what I want to do with my writing and stories, is to bring nature back into it. And nature in the books would be nearly a character in itself. And the woods in Mountshannon, they're the most magical, mystical place, and there's a little fairy loop. That's the main area in book 1. And it's funny then, book 2 came quite quickly, and as I was sipping coffee in the harbour in Mountshannon one morning, I was looking over at Holy Island, and it was like as if it called me. Like this whisper came across the lake. And within a few days, one of the local lads brought me out. Can't think of his name offhand. Madden, my apologies. And I went over and spent about 4 hours of again taking in its energy and its story.
And getting a lot of ideas. And speaking of story, Eric, give us a brief synopsis of the raison d'etre of the Erica's Light series. Who is Erica, the protagonist?
So Erica, the inspiration behind Erica's Light is my daughter, Erica. She's the main character, or the inspiration. The gentle giant that's in it is myself. I'm 6'7". I have the hands going here.
I figured that when you came in. I thought you were going to hit your head off the door, which would be rare for anyone coming in here.
Yeah, and And then there's a few fairies with different names. Snip Snaps is a very lively fairy. Precious is another fairy. And then there's a very wise owl called Tookie Tooks. All these names were in my head for years. And it's only when my friend asked me to start writing the book, I could use them.
And is Erica on some sort of a quest or an adventure? I mean, looking at the covers of the books, I'm getting kind of fairy tale, as you say, Lord of the Rings vibes. Does Erica have to fight any bad demons or bad characters or anything like that?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Bishop Fenton, he wrote the foreword for the second book.
And thank God you said you wrote the foreword. When I was talking about bad demons and you segued into Bishop Fenton Monaghan, I was getting a bit worried.
but there will be in book 3 there will, because Anton with light, there has to be darkness. So I was running it by him and he says, yeah, you need to go down that road. So, but to go back to the gist of the story, Erica's gran had passed on and she never got to fully say goodbye. So she had heard her gran said that the connection between this realm and the next realm is through the fairies. So she goes to the woods to meet the fairies, to give them a letter to take to gran in the next realm. And that's the gist of the first book. She goes on to meet the gentle giant who's been hurt by people, by bullying and laughing at him. My own story is actually intertwined in the first.
Okay, so you're taking elements from your own life and from locality, which is nice. It's grounded in reality, semblances of reality, even though there's obviously a lot of fantastical elements to it. You're halfway through the series, as you say. It doesn't sound like your wife is going to be pleased at that. If you're mentioning the third book, never mind, there's going to be a fourth one. So it's Erica's Light, A Journey of Kindness and The Ancient Scroll Awaits, the first 2 instalments of this 4-book series. Eric, where can people get their hands on both of those books?
So if you Google Erica's Light, it'll come up, or www.emccoaching.ie. That's my own website. So the book is in Inis Bookshop as well, and we're building, getting into more and more places as the journey continues.
Brilliant. Well, I hope they do really well for you. Look forward to having you in if and when you get to and write books 3 and 4, and keen to see how the series turns out. Eric McNamara, the author of the Erica's Light series, thanks very much for popping into studio.
Thank you very much for having me.